Chocolate and fashion have been in a relationship for centuries that's as complicated as your last situationship. And it's one of those chaotic relationships where both constantly cause drama, influence each other, and nobody really knows who started it. We're talking colonialism, exploitation, and the fact that both industries somehow decided that ethics are optional. If you thought your chocolate bar and your new dress had nothing in common, buckle up, because this story is about to get wild. To understand how chocolate and fashion became this mess, we need to travel back to the 16th century. That's when European colonizers arrived in the Americas and discovered cacao.
Cacao trees, which require a warm, humid climate to thrive, meaning that nearly all chocolate production happens near the equator.
And with the subtlety of an elephant in a china shop, decided that this now belonged to them. At the same time, they also began plundering exotic textiles, dyes, and materials from colonized countries. Both industries, chocolate and fashion, were built on the backs of slavery, forced labor, and the systematic exploitation of people in Africa, Latin America, and Asia. The Europeans were basically preparing us for the chocolate and fashion apocalypse, and we didn't even know it. Cacao quickly became a luxury good in Europe, just like silk, cotton, and indigo. The wealthy drank hot chocolate in their fancy salons while wearing their imported silk dresses. Meanwhile, the people who actually grew the cacao and wove the fabrics were exploited, underpaid, or not paid at all. The cultural context was perfect. We were coming out of an era of discovery, the Renaissance, and the tyranny of we just take what we want. Both industries were basically status symbols for the elite, and both were built on a system that treated people as disposable. But the real turning point came in the 19th century, when the Industrial Revolution completely transformed both industries. In the 1800s, people like Rodolphe Lindt and Henri Nestlé invented machines that could mass-produce chocolate, so cheap and so fast it was almost absurd. At the same time, the textile industry revolutionized fashion production with mechanical looms and sewing machines, and bam! Both industries became global giants based on cheap labor and maximum profit greed. Within a few decades, both markets exploded. Chocolate factories pumped out bars like they were on an assembly line, and fashion factories produced clothing in quantities that were previously unthinkable. Gen Z would say today, this was the moment capitalism had its main character moment. Millennials thought, okay, this is problematic, but also kind of convenient. The industry people, they were already opening their next factories in countries with the lowest wages, which is exactly the kind of drama that keeps both industries alive. Then came the celebrity effect. In the early 20th century, chocolate brands like Cadbury and Hershey's,
It's the world's favorite sweet. From Canada to Argentina to China, chocolate is regularly consumed by nearly everyone in developed nations.
began marketing their products aggressively, so aggressively it probably had its own PR campaign. At the same time, fashion houses like Chanel, Dior, and later in the 80s and 90s brands like Versace and Gucci exploded.
Still in shock from Gucci's dramatic slowdown.
Gucci sales falling 20% in Asia.
A steep drop in sales at its flagship Gucci brand.
Fashion weeks transformed into chocolate-themed spectacles. Paris Fashion Week, chocolate. Milan Fashion Week, chocolate. New York Fashion Week, you guessed it, chocolate. You get the idea. Brands were suddenly yelling, "We have chocolate-inspired collections now. Please look at us." Designers stalked chocolatiers like paparazzi on Britney Spears' breakdown day. Haute couture, chocolate brown. Ready to wear, chocolate tones. Accessories, chocolate leather. Your handbag, probably getting a chocolate version soon too, whether you consented or not. The trend had officially escaped containment. Chocolate had infiltrated every corner of the fashion world. There were chocolate fashion shows where models literally wore dresses made of chocolate, which is basically a dress that looks like it's trying to survive at 77 degrees Fahrenheit and probably makes every movement impossible. By the 2000s, the trend reached its peak. Vogue released a 47-page editorial titled Chocolate Couture, because of course they did. Harper's Bazaar announced chocolate as the new black, which is a sentence that would have gotten you laughed out of a fashion magazine meeting in 2005. The fashion world collectively decided that everything, truly everything, needed a chocolate version. Chocolate brown coats that required their own stylists. Chocolate accessories that robbed you of approximately 0.3 seconds of your life because they were completely useless. Even the beauty industry got in on it. There were chocolate lipsticks, chocolate eyeshadows, and chocolate perfumes. Because nothing says high fashion like a perfume that makes you smell like a dessert buffet. Chocolate was no longer a trend, it was a religion, and like all religions, it had devoted followers, casual practitioners, and people who thought the whole thing was a cult. But of course, once something becomes popular, the killjoys show up. Some critics argued the trend was superficial, that wearing chocolate colors somehow ignored the deep ethical problems of both industries. Others said it was too commercial, as if commercial is an insult and not just a vibe. Still, others wondered whether people genuinely loved chocolate in fashion, or whether the Instagram algorithm had brainwashed them into thinking brown tones were the most innovative thing since sliced bread. Meanwhile, fashion insiders very loudly argued that chocolate tones were timeless, elegant, and versatile, that they suited every skin tone, that they radiated warmth, that they symbolized luxury. In short, drama, lots of drama, and chocolate right in the middle of it, looking decadent and problematic at the same time. The thing about chocolate and fashion is that they often reveal deeper cultural anxieties about consumption, ethics, and identity. Both industries are built on systems that exploit people. Cocoa farmers in Ivory Coast earn less than $2 a day, while textile workers in Bangladesh work under catastrophic conditions. The chocolate fashion trend became a battleground for all of that, which is a lot of pressure to put on what is essentially a reductive, funny description of brown clothing. By 2024, the trend had gone far beyond its original context. There are chocolate-themed boutiques where the clothing racks have chocolate bars as decoration that look like someone made a pastry shop collide with a fashion store and probably make shopping impossible. The aesthetic had infiltrated everything from streetwear to lingerie to, I kid you not, chocolate-inspired wedding dresses. Chocolate and fashion have become a universal "I'm treating myself" symbol. People of all ages wear chocolate tones to break boundaries, or simply because they enjoy the aesthetic chaos. Looking at the current landscape, chocolate and fashion are less about the color itself and more about what they represent. Luxury, comfort, rebellion against fast fashion and fast food, which is a surprisingly deep takeaway from something you can buy at Zara. In the modern era, chocolate and fashion have evolved into visual shorthand for a particular type of quality of life, one that's indulgent, conscious, and a bit rebellious. It's consumption as performance art, and everyone's invited to the show. And what's truly fascinating is how this chocolate fashion connection exposes our relationship with consumption in the 21st century. After decades of being told to buy fast fashion and eat junk food to be happy, it feels almost revolutionary to consume consciously, or at least pretend to. The trend proves once again, fashion is never just clothing. Fashion is identity, rebellion, and sometimes a very expensive therapy session. Chocolate and fashion have allowed people to celebrate the most indulgent parts of themselves, and to be praised or judged for it, depending on who's watching. They've sparked conversations about sustainability, ethics, and the cost of luxury. Jury's still out on that one. Whether you love chocolate and fashion or think they make everyone look like walking desserts, you have to admit they've sparked important conversations about consumption, exploitation, and what we truly value. And honestly, that's more than you'd expect from something that's basically just brown things that look good.